Hi, this is Sewing with Mrs. Ng, and I'm going to show you all how to make a cat toy in the shape of a mouse out of felt, thread, and just a few other items. There's catnip inside and polyfill, and I know for this year, my students are making these to donate to Loudon Animal Shelter. So when the cats leave the shelter, they can have a toy to go with them. Okay, so these are our items. We have our bag from what I gave you when you came to school to pick it up. We have the polyfill with the catnip in it. I have actually different color threads. You have one. I have the felt with a needle as well as the two eyeballs with a pin. And I have my paper, just because I always like to have a white paper that I can easily help me with the eye of the needle. If you're going to want to make more of these mice, one maybe for your own cat at home because this one's going to be donated, then what you want to do is you want to go ahead and cut the templates out. Use note cards, or it's a little thicker than paper, and you can actually make a template just by tracing it, and then you'll have them for when you decide to make another one. Felt does work the best, so these are already cut out for you from felt, two sides, two ears, a tail, and the bottom. And I have my shears with me just in case. My shears, it was a gift, says hands off, fabric only. Remember that when you're using shears, sewing shears, you should not use them as if they're paper scissors. If I tried to cut with paper, my regular scissors now, they would not cut the felt, but these are only used for fabric, and that's why they're sharp. All right, so to get started, just to kind of see our end product, that's what they look like, super cute, and they have catnip in them, so I think the cats will love them. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use our two sides, and the first part of what you're going to want to do is just kind of line them up to see how you want it to look. I think it doesn't really matter, but I think the top part is a little bit more round, the back part is more where the tail goes. So I'm going to lay it out like that, and I'm going to get my two ears ready. I have my marker. I'm going to just get one of my felt markers, and I'm going to kind of eyeball where I want the ears to go. When we get ready to cut to sew the ears, we're going to actually put the ears kind of off to the side like this, and then we're going to want to put an eyeball close to it. So I'm just going to take this for now. Envision that the eyeball is going to go around here. So this is a good spot for me to put the ear. And I'm going to just flip it over and kind of eyeball where it's going to be on that side. So I like to just kind of do that real quick just to make sure, maybe this should be a little bit lower, just to make sure that the ears are going to be level. Okay, so I have one on each side. And then I just made a darker one so that I know which one it is, and that will just mark my spot for where I'd like to go ahead and add the ear. All right, so then you're going to take your color thread. If you have different thread and you have gray or you have something that matches, that's perfectly fine. I just put it in there, and I'm actually going to ask if this is for any students of mine, since I had the kits prepared for you. If you have enough thread at home and you do not need this thread, I am going to ask that you return it. I would love to have the thread and items come back just because we will use them in future years. So my intention is that you would use the items and then return the items, whatever you don't use, with the finished mouse inside your bag when you return it to school. All right, so let's look at this real quick. The easiest way to do this is to cut the thread at a slant. That's kind of a tip. And then if you take your needle and you're going to go through the eye of the needle, I have found it to work great when I actually hold it over. My eyes are getting old, but hold it over a white piece of paper so I can actually see it. And I probably would be smart to get my reading glasses on, because when things are fine print for me, I have trouble seeing it. Did that go in? Oh my goodness, it doesn't usually take me this long. I'm not going to stop my video just to get the eye of the needle. So don't get frustrated like I am. Just keep persisting, persevere. Get that in there. Come on. No one enjoys getting it through the eye of the needle. Sometimes you'll get it right away, and other times it takes a while. Try to push it more. There you go. All right, so it took me some time there. It'll probably be faster for you guys because you guys have young eyes. All right, so I doubled it up. I don't know if you guys can see, but I doubled up the thread so that it's 2. Like I put it through the eye of the needle, and then it's 2 threads, and I'm just going to knot the bottom. So there's 2 threads together, and I'm going to drape it around my finger, and then I'm just going to rub it. Rub it, rub it, rub it together to form a knot. Then when I pull it, I have a big knot. Now, I have a knot. I'm just going to show you guys that real quick. I don't know if you can see this. Maybe this will be smarter. See that? I have a knot, and then I have a thread hanging out under it. So I'm just not going to cut too close to the knot, but I'm just going to cut under it so I don't have all that extra thread hanging out. All right, so now I've got my needle and my thread all the way through with a knot on the very bottom. And I'm going to just fold or pinch the side together, kind of the bigger side. You see the mouse? The bigger side, the ear. And then I'm going to put it right where that dot is. So if you guys, since you guys are just getting used to sewing, I'm just going to go from the bottom because that's where I want my knot to be. And I'm going to go through that little dot that I did. And then I'm going to pinch those ears together to go through the ears. You are going to be so amazed at how easy this is. This is really actually kind of fun. Now I have decided that the only stitch I'm going to show you, since we're not together in class and it will be easier, is to show you a running stitch. There are so many different stitches. If you guys want to Google it, I'll actually put a link in the Schoology for you, but you can look into it and see I'm just trying to go as close to that stitch that I made. Is you can find the blanket stitch and the whip stitch and so many different stitches, but I'm just doing a basic running stitch. I think it's the easiest. I just made that colorful one this morning, and it was a second trial run before I did the video, and it's good to go. Okay, I went through it about 3 times just as a stitch like that, and then I'm going to come on the back and I'm going to just make one big stitch. It doesn't matter because it's the inside, and before I tighten it, before I go through the actual all the way, pull it all the way through, I'm going to go through that circle, and that creates a knot. If you want to be double secure, you can do it again. A stitch, there's my loop, go through it, and I just formed a knot. Then I'm going to just cut real close to it, and then I'm going to go ahead and knot the other one. So I'm going to wrap it around my finger. I'm going to sew the other one. So I'm going to make another knot. Pull, there's my knot. I don't have a lot of thread hanging out this time, so I'm just going to go ahead and do the other one. And don't be like me and lose your ears, because that's what I think I just did. Where's my other ear? Oh, there it is. It fell. All right, so I'm going to pinch that. Pinch the ear, just like we did the other one. Go on the other side. And you know, this is a cat toy, so really guys, if the ear is not perfect, it's okay. Because guess what? It's going to a cat. I don't think the cat is going to care. The cat just likes the catnip. So I went through the needle, tried to do that all at once. Do another quick stitch. All right, I could have stopped the video, but I'm just going to keep it running. It's fine. And I can see in my hurry, I did not pull all the way through. So that's not a big deal. I'm just going to form a knot here. You probably won't have to do that because when you pull it through, what you're going to want to do is you want to pull it all the way through. So that knot, I'll do that one more time. I'm just manually making a knot now because I didn't pull it all the way. Let me show you guys. Problem solving. See this? So I didn't pull it all the way through, so I wanted to make sure that we had a knot. So I just formed a knot with my hands Did it twice, and we are done. All right, so now we have our ears. Even if they're not perfect, it's okay. It's a mouse. So now you're already seeing kind of how it looks. A little bit uneven, but let me push that forward and it's good to go. All right, so at this point, I might as well go ahead and do the eyes too because I have my black thread, and I can go ahead and knot it again, and I can just do the 2 eyeballs to go ahead and get that done with. I'm not so worried about making a mark right now because I don't want the mark to show. So I'm going to take my pin with my 2 eyeballs, making sure I don't lose my second eyeball. I'm just going to put it right on that white note card because it kind of stands out. Then I am going to take it and I'm going to look at it as to, where should the eye be? I'm guessing the eye should go there. So I'm going to go from underneath. I just place the eyeball. These eyeballs I got at, I think at Joann's. Yeah, got them at Joann's already formed. So just to take a look, they're kind of cool. You see them already, but for those that don't, it's just a little like it looks. Some people use their own thread to make one, especially embroidery thread. I have found to put embroidery thread through the eye of a needle, it's not easy. So I do not enjoy doing that. My students have not enjoyed doing that with different projects we've done. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to buy these finished. And they have been great. It kind of gives a finished effect. They were pretty inexpensive, actually. I'm going to go 3 times. It just did a tiny stitch on the eyeball. And then I'm going to go on the back. And this is always going to be the way we do it. We just make a stitch. Before we pull it all the way through, we just go through the circle, pull, do it one more time, and then pull again, and then cut it off. I mean, can you see how cute the mouse is already? I just love this. I think it's really cute. I had seen other patterns, and another video is going to be on, sorry, I need to shut that off. Another video is going to be available on my Schoology account that another an 8th grade student made, which I thought was great leadership. And she made one on how to do the ice cream cone cat toy. So that was cute. All right, so what I just did was I kind of eyeballed it to make sure that the eyes are going to be even. So we don't want one eye higher than the other when we made our mouse. We want them to be level or even. So if you want to match it up, you can draw a little pin size dot if you think that's going to be easier. Let me see how I did on that. Yeah, it's okay. But this eyeball is huge compared to the other one. So this mouse will be looking a little bit more. Oh, it actually came off. That might be why it looked bigger than it did. But also, some of these eyeballs are better than others. I'm not sure why. Some of the qualities of them, like this one, looks like it's falling apart. So actually, I feel bad because you guys, hopefully at home, don't have this problem. Yeah, that's better. I don't know, the eyeball just kind of fell apart. Hopefully you guys don't have that problem at home with the eyeball you have. But remember, it's for a cat. I don't think the cat cares. If you were making a, final, like a formal gown or something beautiful, it's okay. You always want to do your best, so I don't want to discourage you from doing your best, but it is going to go to a cat. That's why when my mom and I were cutting these out, we said, whatever with the colors, just make them fun, because I think you don't think the cat really cares. So that's what's kind of cool. Felt is good for the texture, so I wouldn't use just t-shirt material. I would definitely use felt if you have it. Okay, so as you can tell, like looking at my eyeballs, one's a little lower than another. That really isn't the perfect eyeball because this is falling apart, this little one. So it's okay. Like I'm not going to grade you down for that, but just try to make them as even as possible. Okay, so now my thread is too short. Take that off, and I'm going to thread another one. All right. All right, I don't want this video to be too long, so I am going to stop and start after I show you guys kind of what to do. because the video is running already. It says 15 minutes. So I'm going to go through the eye of the needle, and then I'm going to show you guys how to stitch this, and then I'm going to pause it. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to pull that through, and then knot the back. Come to the end, make a knot like I had told you before. You're going to be pros at knots by the end of this. If you have extra thread, I'm not going to go over that every time. Just snip it if it's too much. Okay, so my thread is going to be black as I do this. I did the ears, I did that. Now we need to put our tail. This is really important. So we have our mouse eyes, we have our nose. I did only give you one pin. So if you would like to pin that right now at the point at the top of it, just to make sure it's even, I just kind of pinned it like that so it stays together. But your tail is going to go like this. So you're going to stick your tail in the end of it with a little bit, and it's okay if it sticks up, that's fine. And then you're going to start it, the running stitch. So looking at my mouse, this is how it looks. You're going to start it between the two felt pieces. So I'm going to go between it so that my knot at the end, so my knot is hidden inside. And that is referred to, this is going to be referred to as a running stitch. So I'm just going to take it, and I'm going to show you guys a video as well, but I'm just going to take it to the side and go right where that mouse tail is and pull. And then I'm going to make another stitch. I'm going to go back. If you guys can see this, I tried to use my other camera and it wasn't cooperating. I'm going to do a stitch like that. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see that, but so we have two stitches, and then I'm going to continue. I'm going to do another one and make them close together. The reason why I say close together is because the polyfill, you don't want the catnip or the polyfill to come out. So now that I did that, what I like to do, since there's so much space between this one and this one, I'm going to go between them. So I'm going to stitch just right there between them and pull. And then do you see what happened? It looks more like a uniform one. Now, if you have a different color thread that you feel will be less showing, see, between the two, make my stitch between the two, and when I pull, it's going to make the stitch there. Keep going, and then I have the space between, so I'm going to make a stitch there, and keep going, and I'm going to show you guys in just a second, and I'm going to stop it and continue. So you are going to continue to sew all the way up, and then you're going to stop here at the tip. It's really important that you stop because then we have to open it and put our base. Okay, see you in a little bit. Okay, so now, what are we doing now? Now, I have my last stitch. And then I'm just going to knot it. So I'm just going to take it like that. It looked like I didn't get all the way through here, did I? Get another one over here so it looks like that one. Huh, weird. Okay. I'm looking like it's weird because the stitches on this side are fine, but then on this side it doesn't look like it's all the way through, but it did go all the way through, so that's weird. Okay, so again, I'm just going to do it right on the top here. I made a stitch before I go through the circle. I'm going to go through, before I go all the way, I'm going to do it again. I'm just going to make a stitch. And then before I go all the way through to knot it, I'm going to go through those two circles and pull. All right, so So see how it looks? Oops, my mouse is ears bigger. Okay, there. So now she's starting to look, or he is starting to look more like a mouse. All right, now the base. So the base is here. So what I have found to be the easiest thing, because you do have that one pin, this is not, I don't know what these bases are that we cut. We didn't cut them the best, but that's okay. And I want to show you the tail, like I put a lot of the extra in there. So just make the tail as long or as little short as you want. I'm just going to make the base work, which means I'm not going to worry about cutting it perfectly, but if you have more pins, feel free to use it. I probably should have given you a few more. But I'm going to look and see with my hands that if I were to do that and start on this side, sew it, and make it kind of work, it'll fit, that the base of that mouse is fine. That's what I did with this one. Perfectly fine. And this one, you can't tell the color as much. So it works. So what I'm going to do is, and I made sure, like I said before, that the stitching was so tight that there's not going to be any of this catnip coming through it. So make sure your stitches are tight. So I'm going to do the same thing here, and I'm going to do a running stitch again. So now you're familiar with that, so I don't need to show it to you again on the video, but you're going to do a running stitch again. Just pretend it's knotted, and you're going to go between the two, and then I'm going to just go like this. I'm just going to go in and out, pull, in and out, pull it all the way until I get to about here. And then I'm going to show you how to fit the polyfill in. And I'm going to go ahead and trim that long tail because we don't need that. Okay, so now I kind of went stitching crazy and forgot. Hopefully you guys didn't do what I did. And I forgot to leave a bigger opening. So I'm just going to be real with you guys and show you what a pain this is going to be to add it, even though I don't want to have to unstitch. So I'm just going to make it work. So I think I just shoved a bunch in there. Now, the catnip, my needle's still there, so be careful if you're doing what I'm doing. But the catnip, it's really supposed to be a combination of catnip and polyfill. So when I'm grabbing my catnip and polyfill, I'm just kind of merging it all together and kind of mixing it up because the cats love that catnip. And then I'm going to find my opening and shove it in there. It's just, that wasn't probably the best idea of mine, but I was just trying to get done. I don't know where the day went, but the nice thing is you guys have plenty of time to do this because I'm giving you actually 2 class periods in hopes that some of you might have some time to get caught up on other work or make an additional one to donate. All right, so that's getting there. Now you can use a pen like I am, a closed pen with a top, to squish the polyfill further in. See how small my opening is? It's pretty small. I'm going to take more, and I gave you guys enough polyfill that you should be able to make 2 or 3 if you have the items at home. If you don't, and you can only make 1, and that's the one you're donating, then you're good to go. But if you do have a cat and you want to use the supplies while you have them, feel free to. The felt is a stiff material. It's actually a material that cats like, so that's why we recommend the felt versus felt you can pick up at Joann's and Michael's and Walmart, even craft stores. Okay, so now I don't know if you can see my complete mess I made, but because I have this mess, catnip mess, make sure to wash your hands after this. I'm going to make like a funnel and just dump it in. Okay, so now that I'm finished and it's got all the polyfill it needs, maybe just a speck more. And then I'm going to close it out. Okay, so now I have the rest of my needle and thread hanging out. So I'm going to go ahead and do the running stitch again. Little stitches. So like right now where I'm making the black thread on the blue base, you're not able to see my messy stitching. I'm going to show you guys this real quick. This hand stitching is very effective. It works. It's not hard to do, but it does take practice on how to become better at it. Like, you know, sometimes people will be doing hand sewing so much that I'm going to try to get one more knot, do a stitch, and then I'm going to try to go through that, and then we're done. They've done it so much that their stitch is almost perfect, like as if it's on a machine. I put my needle and thread back. Okay, and then when you guys are done, if you want to clean up your area, you can use the same Ziploc bag that I gave to you, and then just put the thread back, the needles back, the catnip, all that stuff that you guys didn't use, I'd love back. And especially, like I said, make one for yourself if you have extra supplies, because I'm going to be able to use those next time with other students. So that's a real advantage to already have the kits done. So, and then you're going to put your finished item in it, so that I also already have your name on the bag, which is awesome. You can put your finished item in there, and then I'll be able to grade it and give you credit. But just to look at our item, I was talking about the stitching. You can't really tell that the stitching's so poorly done, but look at my brown one. It kind of looks cleaner. The lines are better. I actually used different kinds of stitching on that one. But in the end, they are cute little cat toys that I think that they will enjoy. All right, so that's it, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. One more thing I forgot to tell you was, if you wanted to do the ice cream cone one, there's another one that you guys can do, and the video is in Schoology if you're wanting to know. All right, see you. Bye.